Welcome once again to another episode of the Uncensored Truth podcast. I am your brother, Old Guy from Hip Hop News Uncensored, and sitting beside me to my left is my co-host.
What it do? What's good? It's your brother Sam Ant Viral Hip Hop News. Another episode of the Uncensored Truth podcast. Sam Ant, Old Guy, brother, Old Guy. What it do? What's good, man? It's good to be back.
Yes, sir. It's good to be back. And the other night we had an explosive live show over at One Love Tattoo Shop in Violin, New Jersey. Shout out to Ange, and Vanessa
Absolutely.
Over there at One Love Tattoo Shop. But it's been a lot. There is a lot of news, since we left there. We've been itching to get back to it. So I'm actually going to jump right in this. But before I jump into this, I want everybody to go ahead and hit that like button for me and make sure you share this video before we get started, because we're going to bring that hot content. But let me jump right into this one, man. A few months ago, not even a few months ago, about a month ago, Joe Budden announced, along with Diddy, they had some type of dinner. They put some pictures out, and they announced that Joe Budden's, after he left, the everyday struggle, was looking for a home. So Diddy brought Joe Budden's to Revolt. But since then, we hadn't heard nothing until now. So let me jump right into this article now. Finally, Diddy says Joe Budden is a part of the Revolt family. He says Joe has an authentic approach. He's never afraid to speak the truth. His many talents deserve a platform that pushes the culture forward, and we are excited to produce the next level of content with him. Sam Ant, what do you think about Joe Budden's now on the Revolt team? What does it mean for hip hop?
I think it's a great move. I think it's a great move for Joe Budden. I think it's a great move for Revolt TV. They had that dinner probably around the top of the year, January, around sometime. I remember being Happy New Year. So you're looking about 5 months ago. They announced that he would be a part of the team, and you already know it was only a matter of time before he came out and they made some official news. Come May, 5 months later, like I said, he's coming out with the State of the Culture new show produced by Revolt. It should be great. Don't know if he's going to have a co-host or not. Don't know if it's going to be exclusive Joe Budden content. We shall see, but he's all definitely a pop culture figure in today's society. We all remember and loved him from Everyday Struggle with DJ Academics. A lot of people said he made the show, and when he left, he destroyed the show. And we all can just say now that we look with Star coming and going and the eventual downside, or you see just basically a slip in the Everyday Struggle with questions going to where they're going in the future. And you can basically allude that to Joe Budden leaving early January. So, but let me ask you a question, God. Is this the end all be all to hip hop? You said how good is this for hip hop? It's great for hip hop, but is Joe Budden now the new ambassador and the spokesperson for the hip hop sound and the hip hop culture?
Well, to a certain extent, his voice, is respected in the game. I just want to, read what Joe Budden said, and then expound on that. He said it was important to partner with a company that recognized the growing need for our voices and ideas to stream freely without interruption. This was a much prettier way to say we about to be with the shit, Joe Budden tells Billboard. He says thank you to his business partners, and he says he loves Revolt and excited. Y'all read the article in the description box, but we get what he's saying. And, right now, I think there's a lot of voices. Even we look at voices like Charlamagne the God, Kanye West. I think we got a lot of people, are outspoken and people's voices out there. But, on those platforms, you got the Breakfast Club, you got a couple other platforms. So we need more. And that's what we do over here on the Uncensored Truth podcast. We're going to give it to the people raw and continue to bring up, the topics that people kind of want to shy away from, but the topics that need to be put on the table. So I think it's dope. You know what I mean? And I think that's what Diddy actually seen in him also, somebody who's not afraid to deal with the tough issues.
Now, what do you think a Dame Dash is going to say to a podcast or a show like Joe Budden's show we're about to see right now? Do you think that he's going to tackle, it says the state of the culture. So do you think it's going to be a lot of divulging going on? Because we've seen Joe Budden even in the past get at your Vlad TVs and different kind of platforms that portrayed and shed light to the drama and the real issues that go on within hip hop in the communities. And he was very outspoken to saying that you probably cost a lot of people lives and things like that for perpetuating this nonsense. So do you think that his platform is going to be strictly for the culture? And if he's not, will he be putting that vulture stigmatism is like everyone else is at some point in their career?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. I think, at certain, it's like, everybody kind of got to dabble in it a little bit, to a certain extent, because it's look, what you going to see, you're not going to cover it just because, it might affect somebody. Everybody's covering it. So if it's a topic that's on the table, the topic's on the table.
Right.
So I don't think that Joe Budden is going to shy away from it. I think he's just going to do, his best to give his opinion, on the matter. But I don't see, like a type of censorship or anything coming down like that. I think it's going to be Raw.
Now, would this be the first official like streaming from Revolt? I mean, what are they doing as far as the is the podcast and those things are concerned? How aggressive are they with that? Because you see the Complex Newses and they got their everyday struggles, and then you see your iHeart TVs with your Breakfast Club, and you're streaming the various radio stations, which is great moves. Where do you see Revolt when it comes to the competition and how they are with streaming podcasts? Is this just one in a domino effect of many that will happen in the future? I mean, we only one can only tell. I mean,
that kind of remains to be seen. But you bring about a great point, because when you look at what people who call the vulture, they do the vulturing very well, but they also do other things, very well. And one of those things are continuing, to stay ahead of the culture. I mean, not ahead of the culture, but, pretty much copying and, being able to, make themselves where everybody wants to go. Like, your IE, your top, your media outlets, no matter what they do, people continue to go to them because they got the buzz. So, they're going to have to, but see, I don't think that's Revolt's aim here anyway. I don't think they're trying to be like the next big hip hop, media outlet. I think they're just trying to, Diddy right now is just trying to find some hot talent, you know what I mean?
I don't believe that. I don't believe that. You think that Diddy's sitting here in a situation where he doesn't want to be number one? Is that what you're saying? He just wants to kind of fit in and see where it goes? I think he's trying to make Revolt number one. And that's why he has the moves that he's making with the Joe Budden. And that's why I'm kind of raising the question, because it was a great discussion that we had in our pre-production meeting, when we were talking about certain platforms and the rise of other platforms and how people just kind of didn't elevate to the game. They just rather had made excuses, and they let the wave and everything, the competition that they were eye to eye with at some point, pass them right on by. Now we see a situation where the Complex Newses and your other platforms are winning, but they're being called the vultures, and they're being ridiculed and things like that and criticized for this. And now you see Revolt TV, a black platform owned by Diddy, kind of making this move. Would it be almost, would they be at fault if they don't kind of follow the wave and try to be competition with these platforms? Because we complain about them often. Why wouldn't he want to be on the same pedestal, and why wouldn't he want to be higher than that?
I mean, that's a good point. Maybe. I mean, I haven't heard, as far as I know, it's just one show. You know what I mean? And they kind of like, it's almost like they kind of piggyback mostly off what the Breakfast Club does. You know what I mean? Right now, so, but I hope they do. I hope that they do continue, to build their brands, because we definitely need more independent brands. You talk about like brands like This Is 50, people who came up, when the World Stars and the other platforms that blossomed, but didn't quite, no disrespect, obviously, just love This Is 50, you know what I'm saying? But if you look that these other ones kind of separated themselves and put themselves ahead of the pack, I mean, for a reason. So if anybody could do it, Diddy can. You know what I'm saying?
And he has the hunger and the determination to do it. And he sees waves. He's a great businessman. Say what you want about him, and there's a lot of jokes about it, but at the end of the day, this brother's doing crazy business moves, always has, always will. He sees the trend. He's real in tune with the social media wave. He's just right in the pocket. He always seems to just evolve. His evolution is amazing, something to be applauded, and how he can just maneuver and stick with the times. And he sees the wave that's going on right now, and you could kind of see the moves that he's making with Revolt, that the things we're talking about and kind of bringing to light, he may be doing in the near future. I think it would only just rise the success of Revolt TV if he did kind of start branding out and making it a network, as opposed to kind of just keeping it within the realm of, you know what I mean, Instagram, this is my network, this is dope. You're going to have to start branching out and start taking it to that next level. And who am I to tell Diddy what to do? That would just be my kind of blueprint. And you'll start seeing that in the future here at the Uncensored Truth Podcast. Make sure you go up top and hit that like button on either platform you're watching now on Hip Hop News, Uncensored, or Viral Hip Hop News. Great discussion so far. Oh God, what else you got, brother, man?
Yes, man. Well, it was some big news this morning. I'm sure everybody's seen it. If not, you're going to hear it here right now on the Uncensored Truth Podcast. Well, Drake has just announced